Here's Dreamer, Chapter 27. I don't have a wallet, Jack said in a timid, frightened voice. He was now shaking from his head to his shoes. Liar, the thug said. What do you take me for, a fool? He said contemptuously. Jack thought he was a fool, but he wasn't going to say. The thug dropped a $50 bill onto the dirty floor, and this was Jack's chance to make a run for it. He pushed past his assailant and ran for safety. Unfortunately, he didn't see the man reach for the inside of his jacket and pull out a black revolver. Jack had no idea that guns were like sweets in America and everyone liked them. None of this would mattered as the man took aim and he squeezed his finger on the trigger and fired 3 shots. Jack felt the pain in his back as if he'd been jabbed by a very sharp and very long needle. He fell into a dirty puddle and he saw his face reflected back at him. A tear slowly fell and formed a ripple, and he saw it moving, and then nothing. He woke to the sound of cheering, and Jack looked up, and all that he could see was a huge crowd of people all around him. They were dressed in exotic colors, and they were all laughing and smiling. He realized that he was on the bench, and he was watching a baseball game. Jack didn't have time to process the information. He watched as one of his teammates faced up to the ball. His teammate appeared nervous as the ball was thrown towards him, and with a loud thwack, the white ball flew into the air. In an instant, his teammate set off running as the crowd cheered madly, and sand was flying up into the air as he raced around. The opposition scrambled for the ball and they threw it at the base marker. Jack's teammate threw himself at the stop, but it was too late. He was out. Some of the crowd booed and some of the crowd cheered. The noise was so deafening. Jack's teammates walked off the field of play looking crestfallen and disappointed, and now it was Jack's turn. He walked onto the field still feeling half asleep and nervous and wondering where he was. The cheering of the crowd was deafening. It was exciting and scary at the same time. He clasped the bat with both hands and waited for the ball to be thrown. Jack's first swing missed. The beads of sweat started to form on his brow, and the crowd was becoming impatient. Jack clutched his bat even tighter, and he felt the weight of expectation weighing down on him. Then the ball came towards him at tremendous speed and became a blur. It was as if time was standing still and the crowd went silent. Jack swung the bat, and he was so scared that he closed his eyes as he couldn't cope with missing. He heard the thwack of the bat on ball, and he opened his eyes to see the ball sailing into the blue sky. He was so excited that he almost forgot to run, and then he sprang into action. It was difficult running in the heavy kit, but the tune of the crowd spurred him on. He thought his heart would explode as he swept round the circle, and he could see his opponents racing for the ball as he passed each post. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then with one large lunge he skidded to the final post in a cloud of sand and cheers, and the stadium erupted in a sea of colour and noise like a carnival. Jack was a hero. Jack watched the score change on the screen, and he felt proud that he'd made it happen. He walked back to the spot and he waited for the pitcher to throw the ball. This time Jack could see the anger on the pitcher's face as he did an extra long run-up. The crowd held their breath in anticipation. What was going to happen?